All right, ladies. We're connecting tonight with Matters of the Heart with your girl, Mary J. We're getting ready to get up close and personal in your face. We're going to deal with some hard stuff on tonight. We're going to talk about some things that we kind of like try to speed past as we come in and out of relationships. We go through a lot, okay? But we're going to talk about it on tonight, and we're going to keep it real all the way through here. Those of you that has already been in with us in our room, you already know. You already know where we're going. You already know where we've been. You've already heard rejection part 1 and 2. So it's kind of like a spillover from that. We're going to deal with some of that as well. So let's go ahead and talk about betrayal on tonight. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, because we know that at some point, if you've been in relationships, if you've been in and out of relationships, particularly you've been through some betrayal, you've been through some lies, you've experienced some deception at some point, you've dealt with it on every hand. Oh yes, you have. You've dealt with it. You dealt with the disloyalty. Yes, you have. You've dealt with all of what goes on when we are being played, when we go through betrayal. So let's talk about it on tonight, because many times we go through being betrayed, and we, as I said before, in rejection, we can kind of pretty much see it happening. We see what's going on, and many times we go into relationships and we begin to kind of, just sit back and kind of try to gel and figure things out. We want to take it a little slow, especially us ladies. We like it a little slow. We like to get into the know of trusting and understanding and meeting them where they are. And a lot of times we would try to kind of sit back and watch just to see what happens, just to see what direction the relationship is going to go in before we invest too much too soon, right? Before we give too much too soon. So we would kind of like feel our way through it and see what's going on, see where we fit, see how things are working out, see if there's some mutual interest in the relationship before we put all of our trust and all of our everything, our hope, in one basket. We'll work it out little bit by little bit, trust little bit by little bit. But then when we see that the relationship, of course, is developing and it's growing, and we're coming to a mutual understanding, we have some mutual interest. Hello, Catherine, for coming in. And we get involved in our relationships, and we begin to trust a little bit more. Now, I don't know about you. Now, we have some ladies that won't trust at all until they see where it's going, because for most women, trust is earned. And then we have some other ladies that would trust right away until you give us reason not to trust. We would trust you in the beginning until you've shown us some signs and you've kind of painted some pictures and things look a little cloudy. It looks a little dark and gloomy. Your story's not adding up. So some of us, we would trust right away. Others, it has to be earned. But at some point, we begin to just pull in, and we pull closer, and we get closer and closer. And then when we begin to share everything, start sharing our truths, letting you know exactly what's going on, exactly what time it is, who we are. And I said before, ladies, in many cases, we share too much too soon. We let a man know all of the intimate details about our past and the things that we've experienced and where we're going. And then they begin to kind of know. I said it before, they get familiar, and they begin to know exactly who we are, what we're working with, how far they can go, so on and so forth. Because it's us, we give it to them. We give them the information that they need. And then once they have it, of course, I said they know what cards to play. They know what cards to play. So we're going to talk about betrayal. We're going to talk about deception. We're going to talk about the game of lies. Let me say this. I believe it was Lord Ruffins. Lord Ruffins posted a post, and I loved it. And I think it was a fortune cookie too that kind of like confirmed some of the stuff that I would be sharing on tonight. But let me try to get that post right, because I'm trying to think about it. But it said that when the heart is hungry, it will eat lies. And I'm paraphrasing now. When the heart is hungry, it will eat lies. And that is so true in many cases, ladies, when we're in these vulnerable spaces, when we've gone through some things already, we've come out of, like I said before, ruptured relationships, we've been dealt the bad hand, and then we trust again. And when we put ourselves in another situation again, we're vulnerable. And when our heart is opened up, it'll eat lies. It will. Because a lot of times we want to hear what we want to hear, even though we see, even though we feel, and pretty much we know deep down inside, because as I said, there are red flags along the way that let you know there are red flags. And a lot of times we ignore that unction. We ignore that feeling on the inside that are telling us something differently, but we begin to second guess, we begin to replay the story in our head, and we change it and we make it be befitting to what we really want to hear, or what we want to believe, or what we wish it could be. And a lot of times we're dealing with the cover that is called betrayal. We're dealing with it. It's when you put all your trust and your hope, wanting something, believing something, just holding on to whatever it is, whatever was said, and then finding out later that it wasn't exactly all of what was told to you. It wasn't, the story didn't go exactly like that. You've asked over and over again about situations and about people and who they are and how they mean, what they mean to them. And then you find yourself dealing with it at a later date, when you know that it could have been something that could have been kind of uncovered up front, exposed a little earlier in the relationship had you known. Because we deal accordingly, don't we, ladies? We deal accordingly, in a lot of times because we deal accordingly, that's why that information is withheld from us. Because most cases, the information is withheld because if they knew what you felt and they knew how you would think, they know how you would move. That's why they don't always give you what you want in the beginning. Because if we had the information up front, maybe we would have made some different choices. Maybe we wouldn't have stayed as long. Maybe we would have decided to go in another direction, or to just kind of lay back, But many times the information is not always given up front. And when I say information, we can be talking about another partner, if you're in a relationship, if you're on a rebound, if you just came out of the relationship, of course, if you're married. Now, listen, ladies, I want to talk about that one right now. Hi, Priscilla. Thank you for connecting with us. I want to talk about that one right now, because now in this day and time, and all of what we know, all of the social media that we have and the technology that we have, Google is free. You can Google anybody you want to Google. You can Google their name. And let me tell you, when you Google their name will come up, and the affiliated addresses will come up with that name and the places where they live. And guess what else comes up? The people that lives at that address as well. So that's quick and easy. You can find that out like just a press of the button. And I'm saying all that because many times that we pay attention to the writing on the wall, and we see just, how much information we're given, how much time we're given, and that will let you know exactly where you are and what you're working with. So I talked about it on my show before. This is not new on tonight. For those of you that follow me for Real Talk with Mary J, we talked about it on Real Talk with Mary J. We talked about living inside your inbox. We talked about it. Yes, we did. So listen, if you are given limited information, if somebody's very reserved with you, if they're not sharing everything with you, and they're not calling you back in a timely manner, or they're not texting you back in a timely manner, and time goes in between of that, you have to start thinking about that. What if the information that you're given, or the time that you're talking, is sporadic, or certain times of the day, certain days of the week? You have to pay attention to that. Those are red flags. Those are signs. When you see that, weekend time, you might be free on the weekend. During the weekday, you're not free at all. Maybe just sometimes during the weekday you might be free, and on the weekends you're not free at all. So what is it about the time that you have to pay close attention to the time of day it is. What time is it? Is it only weekends between business hours are we communicating? Is that it? Are we able to communicate late at night? I talked about it already. Are we able to communicate early in the morning? So you have to know. You have to know it's all there. You know, the little signs are there. The little snippets are there. The red flag's been there the whole time. But we operate in deception because we want to take a blind eye and a back seat to what reality is. And it's always there. There's the little bit of things that you see. But listen, many cases we settle, we second guess, we question over and over again. And then we feel like, you know what, maybe I'm just reading into it too much. Maybe it's just me. Or maybe he didn't mean that way. You know, maybe that might be what's going on. So I'm just going to give him the benefit of doubt. And I'm going to sit back. I told you all they had a lady that was in a relationship for 5 years because she sat back. She didn't want to rock the boat. She didn't want to, you know, to have anything to be uprooted. You know, she didn't want to come in too strong. She tried to kind of like tiptoe around the tulips because she didn't want to stir up anything. But let me tell you, when you have a mindset to know, to understand that there's something going on, or, you know, why am I so restricted? Why am I limited? Why is he always so busy? You know, why doesn't he call back? You know, and why can't we go to this event or do this? You know, there's so much that we can look at to know when we're actually going through some things and we're being dealt the wrong hand, ladies. Come on. You have to know when you're being dealt the wrong hand. Are you going to just continue to play the same hand that you're being dealt all the time, over and over? You know, does he allow you to come over to his house? Do you always have to call? How far in the relationship are you? Do you always have to let him know you're on the way? Can you just show up? How far in the relationship are you? Of course, I believe everybody needs their own personal private space. I believe everybody needs time out for them. I don't believe that you just intrude and you just show up all. No, it depends on where you are in the relationship. It depends on what has been identified and solidified in a relationship. And I already told you, you know, if you don't know, if you really don't know and you're still trying to figure it out over and over and over and over, come on, think about it. Remember, we talked about it on rejection part 2. You've already been rejected. You've already been rejected. And so now listen, sometimes it's just a matter of timing. We understand that. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing. Maybe you came in the picture at the wrong time. Maybe there's a whole lot going on. Maybe they're dealing with a whole lot right now and you just don't fit. So guess what? If you don't fit in that particular time, in that particular situation, and that's not where you want to be, that's not where your heart is, you feel that you're worth more, you know your worth, and you decide. Remember, I told you, you decide how much time you want to invest. You decide if it's time for you to move on, because in many cases you may be holding yourself up from other potential suspects, other potential prospects rather. You may be holding yourself up from that. So if you continue to invest all of your time and your energy waiting on someone to decide whether or not if they have time for you, to spend time with you, you've already made the decision. I told you before, they do not get to choose. You do. You choose. You get to make the choice, and you make the choice by letting them know that you're right here waiting. You get the choice by letting them know that when they finish playing, you'll be right here. So they already know. They already know. They know how much they can do, how much they can get away with, who they can play with, who they can't play with. They know that when I was younger, and I used to play games, we used to play games on the phone, had our three-way calling, on the phone. We would talk on the phone, and you have your friends on. Pretty much you knew, who you can talk to early, who you can talk to late. You already knew that if I'm on the phone with this one, and when I hang up with him, I can call that one because he stays up a little later. I'm saying it's the same game, same soup warmed over. We're just gotten older and we're still playing, with boy toys. That's all it is. But you have to understand. You have to know. Come on, you can. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. You can figure it out. You can figure it out. If he's tired and he's like, okay, I'm going to bed. I got to go get some rest. I got to work in the morning. Okay. But is that the same answer all the time? Is that the same answer all the time? Then you already know. You already know. Yes. Yes. You already know. It's not that hard to figure out. But a lot of times we play these mind games and we begin I've heard somebody say, and I snatched that from him. I don't want to say who it is because he might say, well, why you put me out there like that? But when we play these mind games, these mental gymnastics up and down trying to figure out what's going on, mental gymnastics can give you stress. Mental gymnastics can give you depression. Yes, mental gymnastics can give you anxiety. Are you kidding me? Oh, I can't wait till we talk about intercourse on next week because I have so much to say about that. What goes on in the course of the relationship when you're riding through that course? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to leave it alone for right now. But mental gymnastics will keep you emotionally twisted. You will be on an emotional roller coaster. Up and down, not even knowing when. Sometimes he's on, sometimes he's off. Sometimes he calls, sometimes he doesn't. Why are we dealing with all of that? When are we going to stop? When are we going to set the precedence and the standard to know? You get what I'm saying? When are we going to set the precedence to know how much we want to go through that, how much we want to deal with that? And let me tell you, as it relates to our inbox, get out your inbox. Get out your inbox. I'm going to say that one more time. Get out your inbox. Because listen, if a man is going to deal with you and he's only going to deal with you in your inbox, okay, if you're beautiful, why can't he say hello beautiful on your page? If you're beautiful and you're beautiful, why can't he say that? Why is he dropping all of these little seeds in your inbox all through the hours of the night? And most importantly, why are you responding at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and because he said hello beautiful, or he sent you those flowers, those fake flowers, the little picture flowers in your inbox, why are you saying thank you at 1 in the morning? Ladies, listen. You set the standard. You set the precedence. You let him know how he can deal with you. Now watch this. If you start responding all those different hours at night, he's going to start calling you all of those different hours of the night, because he's going to know that he can still come to you, that you're still awake, that you're still up. And one thing about Facebook, social media, it shows who's up at night. You know that, right? It'll show, oh yes, she's up. Let me go and drop this heart. Let me go and drop these flowers. Doesn't it sound juvenile? Doesn't it? And we play those games. We get played into these games. We get played into this deception. We get played into these lies. We're always wanting to know, what's the deal? Tell us the truth. What are you doing? Are you seeing somebody? Is that over? And we play these games. And let me tell you, I already told you about posting. Posting doesn't always mean it, ladies. We have some that would say they refuse for you to post because they're very private and they don't like their business out. And if they're going to have a relationship, they want to keep it under wraps. They don't deal with social media, so they don't want you talking and sharing everything. That can be a cover too. And then you have some that post because when they post, they're trying to make a statement. They want you to see. They want you to know. They want you to think it's all of that. Or they want you to feel secure that you're okay with it, okay? And all the time, they're inboxing, they're on the sideline, they're doing what they want to do. Yes, sometimes you might even see a post that says something about how good my man is, and I have the best man, and he does this and he does that. And that might be the same man that just finished hollering at you, and you're inboxing, you're like, what? What is she talking about? Or what is he talking about? What's really going on? Yes. Lies and deception. You have to be able to recognize lies and deception. You really have to know. You really have to know. And when you put yourself out there, because why? Like I said, we want to be the one. We want to be the one that ends up with him. We want to make sure it's us, and we play into it. And if we can't have him, we're going to show her, and we're going to tell her, and she's going to get it all. She's going to know everything about what he said. Oh, but it was okay. It was okay before, but now that you've gotten upset about the situation, you know we talked about it on Rejection Part 2. Go back and check it out. It's all there, yes. Go back and check it out. Yes, ma'am. So we have to deal with it. Are we going to continue to just go through it and ignore it and act like it does not exist? Ladies, how many times am I going to keep saying that you set the standard? They already know. Yes. They already know because you give it to them. You give them so much information. You tell them so much about it. You let them know exactly what you're doing. You tell them what you're going to do before you even do it. You let them know what direction you're going before you even get there. They already know. They already know. Because even when you have the inside information and you're on to it and you know what's going down, you know what's happening, you go and tell that too. You go and share that too. So if we can just kind of like sit back and think it through and speak less, because you don't always have to let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. No, you do not. You do not. You can move gracefully and you can move silently. Yes. You can move on and not even explain. Remember I said the ultimatum is in your mind. You can put it there. You don't have to tell them when it is. You can stick to it, and you can know. You can know when it's enough. How are you going to keep pulling yourself out of something that you made the decision to jump into? You chose to jump right into it because you chose to move out so fast. You didn't want all the information. You were willing to give all the information. There's so much that you didn't even know. There's so much that you didn't even get a chance to talk about. And now you find yourself entangled in a relationship that you don't even know a whole lot about. Ooh, what happens, ladies? And I don't want to get too far deep into next week, but what happens when we are involved in a relationship and we've given so much away and we're entangled, and now because our heart is attached and we're loving hard, because you know we can love hard, we love hard, and then we find out later down the line that there were some things that wasn't said, there were some people that you didn't know about, there were some things that were not explained, and now you feel like you're entangled and you're in a space where you really don't want to be, dealing with betrayal, deception, lies. Yes, you've asked him and he avoided. Avoidance is a key indication that there's deception. You ever ask questions that you never got the answers for? You said, or they said, not right now, or I talk to you about that later, or let's visit that at a later date, or I'm tired right now and I don't want to deal with that. And that avoidance, that every time you bring that subject up, they never answer the question. So why are you still asking? Why don't you answer? Why don't you give yourself the answer? You already know. You already know. But in many cases, we will continue to seek for the truth. And when we don't know the truth, like my boy said, we'll eat those lies. We'll eat those lies because those lies taste good right now. Because the lies are the things that makes us comfortable at the time. So we'll eat the lies, knowing that they are lies. Knowing that they are lies. We'll eat the lies because the lies are justifiable for the moment. They're justifiable. They're okay for right now. We'll deal with that right now until we know the truth. And what we know to be the truth is to keep digging and keep wanting evidence, keep wanting answers, keep asking questions. Don't you know that sometimes the truth are in the things that are not spoken? Yes. Sometimes the truth are in the things that are unsaid. Many a times we're asked a question, and there goes those mind games again. Why are you asking me that? Why would you come and ask me something like that? What do you think? Why you feel that way? Questions with the question, but never the answer. You've been deceived. That's deception. Yes, you've been deceived already. Going through the channels over and over again. You've already had that feeling, that gut feeling that you get down on the inside, that tugging that you get on the inside, and then when you question it, that anger that rises up, or that avoidance, or just like they would probably just walk off, leave you there. Or what about getting angry in advance so they don't even have to deal with it? They don't even have to deal with it. Yes, Hope, the attitude, right. They don't have to deal with it. But lies, deception, betrayal, over and over. Over and over. Do you remember me saying to you ladies, the situation that I was in a while back? And of course, you ask, is there anything else that I need to know? You know, we've asked the question, ladies. Is there anything that you feel that I need to know? Is there anything that you know I would want to know? Is there anything, anything else? Because I'm one of those persons, tell me the truth now. Tell me the truth now. I always says, hurt me now, don't wound me later. Because if you hurt me now, if you cut me now, let me choose how I want to deal with it. Let me see how I want to doctor on this. But if you do not tell me the truth now, and then I'm wounded because now you told the lie that put a Band-Aid over it, and now later on down the line, now when you really see what's going on, the thing is infected, you could have said something. But what about, oh, I didn't want to hurt you, but really? You didn't want to hurt. So you lie because you don't want to hurt? Ooh, guys, we deal with the hard truth, don't we, sometimes? Yes. Ooh, we deal with the hard truth. Didn't want to hurt me, but you thought the lies would make me feel good, right? Didn't want to hurt, but you thought the deception would feel better than the truth. You thought the deceit would feel better than the truth. All for the sake of not wanting to hurt. All for the sake of wanting to save. Because what really happens is that the reason why the truth is not told, for most part, is because, of course, if you knew, then you can make a decision whether you want to stay or leave, right? But how selfish is it when you're asking and you're not getting the answers, but you still stay? And that person already know that they moved on. But guess what? Remember what I told you before, ladies? Never shut a door. They would never shut a door. No, they would never shut a door. I don't care if she's coming in and she's got it out. That back door is still open. That's why you couldn't have the answers. That's why you couldn't be told the truth. Because that back door has to stay open. Because if that doesn't work out, then they can always come back and say, you know what? I just didn't have time. I just had a whole lot going on. I was dealing with a lot of stuff. It was just a bad timing. That person really, it wasn't all of that. So they keep the door open. But it's up to you. It's up to you. If you let them keep coming back in and out. If you let them keep playing, one more time, mental gymnastics with your mind, with your emotions, with your body, all of that. Oh yes, all of that. That is why that door could not be closed. That is why you could not get the closure. That is why he avoided calling you back or texting you back. Didn't want to have the conversation. Didn't want to deal with that. Oh no. Then that would make him liable. That would make him responsible. Why do that when he can just hold you back, hold you off a minute, see what that's about, see what he's getting out of that, see where that's going. And once he gets it, wow. He's not coming back to shut that door. That's why we have so many ladies that stay in relationships with wonders. Wondering what's going on. Wondering where they stand. Wondering how they fit. Wondering where they're going to end up. Yes. We keep on falling for it over and over again. I am so glad that my gentlemen are being so kind in the room while we deal with this. I am so glad that these gentlemen are being so mannerable in the room. When we continue, ladies, to settle and to go back and forth, in and out of those relationships, not understanding where we are in it, trying to figure it out, trying to string it along, trying to hold on. Some of us are really delusional. I want to say that because I see some delusional women sometimes. Some of us are really delusional. Some of us already know because he has not given you any indication. You've tried and you've asked, and you see the way he moves, you see what he says, what he does. And some of us are just delusional. Some of us, I don't know. Are you just hanging on just for the sake of hanging on? Are you just coming around just to keep coming around? When are you going to let go? When are you going to be okay with letting go? Why are you going to continue to stay stuck? Why are you going to continue to stay in a space where you already know? Remember, we talked about rejection 1 and 2. You're being ignored. Yes. That's right, Jackie. Know your worth. Stop settling. Know your worth. But in many cases, and I already told you what it's about. I already told you. Many cases, not all, many cases, it's about the other woman. It's not about us. It's about the other woman. We don't want them with the other woman. It's not about us. Because, I told you rejection can lead you to some low places. So, many cases in hindsight, after the fact, when you look back, okay, say you stayed, you look back, and then you feel obligated. Because then you realize, you know what? It's not even all that. Now I find myself in this space and I feel obligated to be where I am, where I really don't want to be, because I know where I should be. It's so much more further, so much more higher, and you end up settling. You end up settling and you wonder how you got there. How did you end up being in that space? How did you end up being with that person? That was not even your type. He was not the one that you wanted. You ended up settling because in the time that you met or the time that you came together, maybe perhaps you weren't where you're supposed to be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, socially. There was a whole lot going on with you at the time. That's why you ate the lies. You ate the lies because it was convenient. You ate the lies because it was comfortable. You ate the lies because you just decided to conform. That's why you ate the lies. But when you think about it and you go back and replay that thing in your head, and then you begin to play those lies that sounds like lies, you know now, because you're in a much better space, and now you have a clear head and a clear insight, and you can really now, you're hearing it now. It's almost as though you're hearing it for the first time. You're seeing it now, and it's almost as though you're seeing it for the first time. But it was there the whole time. It was there the whole time. Yes. It's been there. You couldn't see it before because you were in a dark space. You had so much chaos going on around you. You weren't able to see the writing on the wall. You weren't able to see the hand that you had been dealt. You weren't able to see the real deal. No, you weren't able to see it. But it's been there. So now, ladies, now that you know how you going to deal with it. How are you going to handle it? Are you going to just stay stuck? Are you just going to stay there? Are you coming out? Are you going to come out? Because I said before, you set the standard. You raise the bar. You know what you're dealing with. And you know how much you want to be dealt. Yes. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you begin to think about where you're going, and you know you're headed to something and this isn't it, you'll begin to let it go. Yes, you'll begin to let it go. That's what I'm saying. But in many cases, we have to deal with us. And we have to say to ourselves, okay, what is it about that relationship that I really, really liked? What was it about that person that I really, really admired? How much did I want to invest in that person? Where are we going? How far do I want it to go? Because in many cases, a lot of times if we think about it, pretty much it was convenient. It was convenient. In many cases, you settled. In many cases, you accepted, you tolerated things that you should not have. But because of where you were in your head, it allowed you to eat the lies. Yes, it did. It allowed you to settle. And you continue to do it over and over again. What is loyalty, ladies? Because I've been hearing that word a lot. We hear it in the workplace. We hear it in church. We hear it in relationships. What is loyalty? Because when I think of loyalty, of course, we think of faithfulness. We think of being committed when we think of loyalty. But I need somebody to help me with this for a moment, because loyalty, I can't separate it from integrity. See, I can't be loyal to something or someone that is not integral, because then it means that I will stay supporting. I would stay. Now let me say this. I would let you know that I'm with you, that I'm for you, that I got your back, that I'm going to be right there. I'm going to stay committed to what I said that I would do, regardless of what you did or what you said. I'm going to stay committed to what I say. But as it relates to being accountable, as it relates to referencing who you are, where you are, when that trust issue, that trust factor is broken, you don't see things the same. Now, you can be loyal to a person as it relates to how you feel about them. What are you going to do for them? If you're going to do what you said that you would do, that's loyalty. That's commitment. You're going to hold fast to what you said that you would do. You're going to not be that other person. You're going to stick it out. If that's your girl, you're going to stay right there. You're going to be with them through thick and thin. That's loyalty. But what happens? What happens when you've been betrayed? What happens when you've been lied to? What happens when you've been deceived? Because I'm still going to be who I am, but you weren't who you said that you were. So now what happens is that I still have to be integral. I still have to be one of integrity. So now I'm going to keep loving you. I'm going to keep treating you kindly. I'm going to keep doing the things that I said that I would do. But right now, there's some trust issues right there, and I'm going to do it from a distance. Yeah. If I said that I would do something for you, I'm going to remain committed because that's what I said that I would do. But if that's not something that you didn't hold up your end of the bargain, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, I got to make sure that because of who I am, in other words, I'm not gonna burn the bridge. You know how people say, you burn bridges? I don't burn bridges. I keep the bridge there. I just know how to use a helicopter next time. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to keep the bridge. The bridge is going to stay there. And you'll have to cross over. But I'm going to fly high. I'm not going to burn the bridge down. I'm just going to use the helicopter. I'm not crossing the bridges. No. I'm going to fly high. Many times you may find yourself in a relationship, male or female, girlfriends, guy friends, and you may trust, you may be committed, you may do all of what you said you would do, and you would stick to it. No matter what happens, you would remain consistent. But now, when betrayal comes in, deception comes in, lies come in, and it has set you apart from that person, how do you deal at that point? What happens to loyalty then? Because loyalty without integrity, oh my gosh, that's disastrous. Loyalty without integrity, that's dangerous. Because you can be loyal to somebody to the end, and they can be very, very foul. They can have a really, really bad spirit. They can be very, very cruel. And if you remain committed to that, let me tell you how I handle loyalty and integrity. When I find out a person that is deceitful, full of lies, have betrayed a lot of people, I'm loyal to that person as it relates to their integrity because of who I know them to be. But the things that they do that I feel that may have a bearing on who I am as a person, I smile, I love. Depends on how close we are. You won't know that I know. You won't know that I know. But I'm going to fall back. Yes, I'm going to fall back. Now, I'm going to still do what I said that I would do. I'm still going to be who I say that I would be. But as it relates to the relationship, and you're not a person of integrity, you're a person of deception, lies. I may even untag myself. I may even unfollow. Because what happens is that when you stay connected to a person and you know that person is not integral, you stay affiliated with them. So now what's happening, not only they're deceiving, but you're deceiving too. You're being deceived. Because they would only think that you're connected to that person based on the relationship that the two of you once had, not knowing that you have disconnected yourself. So When I know that a person is just out there and they're not being a man or woman of God, that as it relates to integrity, as it relates to being a person of their word, if I know that they're being dishonest, they're being deceitful, they're being conniving, they're full of lies and deception, but people know me to be a part of that, I will untag, I will unfollow, and I may not say a word to you. I may not say a word to you. You just know that I'm not as close anymore. But now, if our relationship is really bonded and we're really connected, I'm going to come and tell you. As a friend, I'm going to come and let you know. I'm going to say, hey, what's going on with that? Or why are you doing that? Oh, I thought you said that. I'm going to let you know. And then when you deal with it, however way you want to deal with it, if that's not where you are, then that's not where you are. But I'm going to let you know if we're closely connected. But if we're not closely connected, I'm going to untag, I'm going to unfollow, and I'm going to just let you be out there. Especially if you're grown. Especially if you're a grown man or grown woman. I'm not going to come and try to tell you anything. But do not try to put me out there with you, because I'm going to let it be known. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, am I going to get out there and start saying anything? Absolutely not. I'm not going to do that. Now, this is where the loyalty comes in. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to let you know. You're going to know. You're going to know. So when we're dealing with people who are not people of integrity, say what you mean what you say. If you said that you would do something, do it. If you said that you would say something, say it. If you can't do it, go back and let the person know that you thought you were going to be able to. You said this, but you're not going to be able to follow up with that. You're not going to be able to follow through with that. You know, you said we would meet at this time, but we're not able to. You said you would call at this time, but something came up. I'm not able to call right now or something. Do it. Do it. But we get caught up into betrayal, deception, lies. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. And we just continue to hide behind the lies. We avoid it. We avoid the conversation. Watch the people that have the avoidance on them. Watch them. If you continue to see somebody, to try to talk to them, to try to confront them, to try to reason with them, and then they avoid, be careful. Just be careful. Just be careful. But we're dealing with all of these relationships that we're getting in and out of. We've been betrayed. We've been lied to. We've been deceived over and over. Let me tell you how you identify it. A person either going to over-spiritualize it. They're going to over-spiritualize it. They're going to make it seem like you're so deep. They're going to make it seem like, oh, that's just the devil. They're going to make it seem like that's just your mind telling you these things. That's just your perception. That's just the way you see it. So they're going to over-process it. You already know. And that's only because they don't want to really deal. And they're not trying to deal with it. They don't even want to have the conversation. So when you The second thing is that they're going to over process it, over analyze it. The other thing that they're going to do, they're going to try to avoid it. They're going to try to avoid it by any means necessary. Because if they don't have to deal with it, then they don't owe you an explanation. If you don't get an explanation, you don't really know the answer. If you don't know the answer, you're going to keep that door open, and they want that door to stay open. They want that door to stay open because in off season, they'll be back. In off season, they're going to come back. And as long as that door is open for them, you eventually let them back in. Yeah. So let's stop letting them back in. Let's confront it. And listen, when you don't get the answer, you've gotten the answer. That's when they don't tell you, they told you. When you don't make a decision, you've made a decision. That's crazy to say, you know what? I haven't made a decision yet. I'm still trying to. You've made the decision. No decision is still a decision. Yes, it is. It's still a decision when you don't decide. So you have to understand where you are in it. You have to understand what you're working with. And if you choose to, you're going to get just what you decide. So you have to learn how to move forward. Like I said, maybe it's the wrong season, maybe it's the wrong time. So you can revisit it if you feel that you want to revisit it at another time in another season. It just depends on where you are, how far you've grown, and where you are. That's all. Because sometimes you may be so far past that. You may have superseded that. And then you begin to think about it and say, you know what? Why was I wasting all of that time? Like, what was really going on in my mind? Why was I just staying there waiting for an answer? That's right, Elder. That's right. Close the door ASAP. Shut the door fast. But we don't shut doors. We don't shut doors. We keep them cracked. We keep them coming back.